She said she got the proof. This is my first time actually reading the text, and I just feel like this is beneath me. You said blank if we. That's what that says. And now you going back on your word after I signed the release form for Cannon. I take you back to court. Don't play with me. You didn't ask me to cash app you no extra money towards the rent. I just did it out of the kindness of my heart because I knew you were behind trying to help you. That wasn't no extra money. That was what you're supposed to be giving me anyway since we agreed to
Enter value
number is.
047. It appears that Kirk Frost has once again cheated on Rashida in favor of Jasmine. Can you believe it? And you can imagine what Jasmine's once more expecting, like though we are confined to an eternal cycle with these two following all the Rashida and drama Kirk have experienced. One could assume that things couldn't get much messier. But this is the most recent explosive show has everyone talking, and Rashida seemed to be at last prepared to permanently end this chapter.
I ain't trying to do shit. You already know I'm not. Like when, where, how, when.
So where the rest of the text messages at so I can find out this information about what y'all agreed to? Why are your text messages deleted?
What you mean? I don't even know what the was being said. I was frustrated. I might have thought about and I don't know if I sent same day, the next day, I sent the money and did what I needed to do. That's it. I ain't do nothing else.
As you are probably aware if you have been following their romance, Kirk and Rasheeda's union has been an incredible journey. We have witnessed everything take place on Love Hip Hop Atlanta. Rashida was scandalized by Kirk's adultery, attempting to maintain her family's unity, a drama series that hasn't stopped. But this time, Kirk's alleged relationship with Jasmine, things have become really bad in Washington. New degree in addition to the fact that he has dating Jasmine once more, but it's like getting pregnant for the second time. Rashida is done and has had enough. Unquestionably, a significant turning point at their marriage's halfway point, Kirk has been entangled in the same clumsy circumstance that split up their relationship in the past, and rather than being honest, he's acting as it's him who is tired of Rashida. Can you envision following all these years of attempting to make it function? Kirk's facade. He's ended their marriage completely, alone in an attempt to hide this affair. But this time, Rashida isn't buying it. She is fed up with the falsehoods, and when it seems that she's prepared to move on for okay, let's go back a little to allow Kirk and Rashida has spent more than 20 years together. Years, and in case you have seen Love Hip Hop, you are aware that Atlanta is among the largest concerns have included Kirk's adultery, and it has emerged as a motive in their partnership since the beginning of season 2. Rashida was expecting, so rather than Kirk began to act strangely in favor of her. He even accused Rashida in the extreme of deceit, and wonder if the child was that alone demonstrated to us how untidy things were beginning to get real. Yet Bombshell revealed that Kirk had lied to Rashida whilst on a trip with a man. We may all recall that instance when he hooked up with several different ladies while when Rashida arrived home. Scandal was enormous, and many believed their marriage wouldn't make it, but Rashida expressed regret. Him go ahead to the present circumstance in which Jasmine is involved, Washington. So this shocking information, Kirk deceived everyone, not just on once more Rashida, but this time he had intense relationship with the stripper to create worsening circumstances Jasmine ultimately received expecting. And Kirk made an effort to everything. He had been acting out for months that he was unrelated to the child, despite the fact that it was rather evident. He ultimately had to submit to a DNA test, and he stunned everyone by being the father of this relationship with Jasmine, nearly ended his marriage to Rashida. Although once more she attempted to ignore it, Rashida displayed demonstrating to everyone her might by granting Kirk a second opportunity following all he endured with her. But it's now Kirk doesn't seem to have mastered his lesson at all. And here we are once more simply when we believed Kirk had changed his ways. Speculation began to circulate that he was peering around Rashida's back at Jasmine once more, and unexpectedly Jasmine declares she is expecting Kirk's for the second time as a youngster. It's as the same drama is being replayed over and over. Once more, folks were in disbelief, and to be honest, Rashida couldn't either after everything that took place involving Jasmine. Kirk returned for the first time anyhow, and committed the same error this news broke. As harsh as Rashida is, this time she's addressing it in a different way.
That posting things on Instagram probably isn't the most grown thing to do. All I've ever wanted was this kind of communication that I'm having with Rashida. And up until now, Kirk has painted her out to be the bad guy, and I'm not buying it.
When Rashida learned about the pregnancy, she was obviously devastated. Who wouldn't be? Remaining by Kirk's side on numerous occasions, unfaithfulness, this was practically ideal. Treachery, but here's what raised it is. No longer accepting Kirk's justifications, she is sick of hearing falsehoods and a history of frequent drama. She could have attempted to find a way to let him go or a means to make things function, but this time it feels distinct. Rashida has finished placing as for Kirk. What with his mess instead? For the actions he took, he has been attempting to portray himself as the victim in this circumstance. He is informing folks that he hasn't been content in his marriage for a lengthy attempt to create the impression that this isn't a major affair with Jasmine. But really, we all understand that simply his means of avoiding the truth about Kirk's problem up once more, and he's attempting to appear as it is not significant. Kirk, it's classic, attempting to escape accountability via acting as though he's been miserable for years, but he simply doesn't want to in real life. Recognize that Rashida has been betrayed. Once more, but Rashida isn't this time. Purchasing it following all these years of addressing Kirk's deceit and dishonesty at last. She's arriving at her breaking the point is, she's tried and been patient to fulfill her family's needs, although one can only handle so much at a time. Kirk is pregnant for the second time. Overstepped a bound Rashida couldn't ignore.
The deal.
Honestly, let me say this. Me and you haven't really had any type of communication like this ever before. I feel like maybe me and you need to open up a communication line instead of me and him. Maybe it will be better that way.
You just told me my husband trying to you, and then you telling me you want to open up a communication line with me?
Furious with Kirk's social media has been blowing up ever since the news dropped about Jasmine's second pregnancy.
I'm done.
And trust me, people are not holding back. A person on Reddit wrote, Kirk is the type of man to ruin a good thing just because he is bored. Another one added, Kirk doesn't deserve her, and Jasmine clearly doesn't care about blowing up their whole family. This cycle needs to end. But while the anger toward Kirk is loud and clear, the support for Rashida has been unreal. It's like everyone is just waiting for her to take that step and move on. Fans have been commenting things like, Rashida, you deserve peace, and you've given him enough chances. It's time to choose yourself. You can tell people really want to see Rashida happy, and after everything she has been through, it's hard not to root for her. So will Rashida actually file for divorce this time? That's the big question. But at this point, it really looks like Kirk and Rashida's marriage might be over for good. I mean, how much more can Rashida take after over 20 years of ups and downs, infidelity, and all the public embarrassment Kirk has put her through? You really can't blame her for wanting to walk away. The truth is, Rashida has given Kirk so many chance over the years, and each time he seems to find a way to mess things up again. She's been through more than most people would ever tolerate in a marriage. And it's clear that this latest betrayal is just too much for her to handle. Rashida has always been the strong one, trying to keep their family together and work through the issues. But how do you move forward when the same thing keeps happening? It's one thing to try and forgive someone once, but twice with the same person, that's a lot for anyone to handle, especially when it's all playing out on the internet. From what we've seen and heard, it seems like is ready to focus on herself, her business, and her family. It's not easy to end a marriage after 25 years, but sometimes you have to do what's best for your own peace and happiness. But of course, there's always that question in the back of everyone's mind. Will Rashida actually go through with it? Insiders are saying that she's thinking about divorce, but so far nothing's been confirmed. We all know that leaving a marriage, especially one that's lasted this long, isn't a simple decision. There are kids, businesses, and years of shared history. It's not just about walking away. It's about deciding if the relationship is worth saving or if it's time to move on for good. That's where things get complicated. Even though Rashida has been hurt and betrayed, she's always tried to make things work in the past. So will she do that again? Or is this really the end? From what we're hearing, she's reached her breaking point. But until we see those divorce papers, anything is possible. But what about Kirk? Well, he is over here trying to justify his actions, saying he has been unhappy for a long time. But honestly, that just feels like another excuse. He has been dodging responsibility for his behavior for years, and this time fans are really seeing through it. Everyone knows that Kirk's actions have destroyed his marriage. People are over it, and they want to see Rashida move on. So what do you guys think? Should Rashida finally leave Kirk once and for all, or do you think there's a chance they could somehow work things out? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Celeb Strike.